Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Chop House Chatter. I am Thomas,
I'm Jackson.
and we are going to recap and go through the top lineups in Major League Baseball across all the division winners. And Jackson, who do you think is going to have the best lineup? Just top of your head as a Braves fan, who do you think?
It might be a team from down south.
Might be. I like that. I like that.
I'll be vague. It's a team from down south.
Well, we're going to go alternating. We're going to start in the West, hit the National League, then American League, and alternate going through like that. Jackson, you want to start us off? How do the Dodgers look?
I mean, they got two MVP candidates in their lineup, so I think the top of their lineup is very good. Obviously, when you go Mookie Betts and the Freddie Freeman, it's a pretty good start. Will Smith's been pretty solid for him this year. He's got an 826 OPS.
But he did not start as catcher in the All-Star game. I just want to point that out. Bill, that's mainly for you. He did not start as catcher.
And he might be the second best catcher in the National League offensively. Yeah. So, anyways, moving on. They got JD Martinez. I think the Dodgers have a decent lineup. I think their back end is really kind of lackluster. Any lineup where you're starting Miguel Rojas in the year 2023 might be a little shaky at the back end, kind of a black hole. Peralta's a hot and cold guy, and I don't think James Outman's that good. I think he's about league average. So, I mean, I think the Dodgers, again, top heavy. Top's really good, but kind of a top heavy lineup.
I can definitely see that, and it's a great top half of the lineup when you have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. But when you just trickle down like that, eighth inning, when you don't have those big bats up, it might hurt you.
Oh, come playoff time when teams have good relievers, it starts to become a problem because it doesn't matter how good the top half of your lineup is. Sometimes your top half doesn't get up there. They don't get a shot. So it'll be interesting to see how down the stretch if they continue because they've been crazy in August.
Yeah.
If they can continue that output for the rest of the season into the postseason. But, right now I'm going to if we're going to start ranking them right now, I mean, the Dodgers are the first team. So obviously they're in the first spot, but that is subject to change with what's coming up.
So moving on to the American League, we have a tie, right? with Seattle and Texas?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's go ahead and hit Seattle. Got J.P. Crawford, Julio Rodriguez. Love Julio. Him, Acuna, Ellie De La Cruz, all of them I put in the same caliber. Love watching those players. Very electric. Eugenio Suarez.
Ennio Suarez, yeah.
Ennio. Apologize for that name if he's listening to this. Love for him to listen to it. Cal Raleigh. Ooh, these names. Teoscar Hernandez. Is that?
Teoscar Hernandez, yeah.
Yes. Ty France, Dominic Carrizone, Mike Ford, and then Josh Rojas. All right, stats guy, what you got on them?
Seattle's lineup's been kind of enigma. They have some good hitters in there. Obviously Julio Rodriguez, fantastic hitter. Guys like Ty France. Ty France is a really solid hitter. He's been kind of average this year. Cal Raleigh's got some crazy power from the catcher position. As a whole, I think Seattle's got one of the weaker lineups as far as division leaders go at this point in the season.
But they are on fire right now, coming back from 10.5 back just 1 month ago.
I mean, that's mostly on the back of their pitching, though, and Julio Rodriguez going absolutely nuclear for 5 days and single-handedly winning them 5 games. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the playoffs. You saw it with the Braves in 2021. Eddie Rosario was the guy. Jorge Soler was the guy for a series.
You're hot.
When you're hot, you're hot. So if the Mariners get into the postseason, you just got to pitch well, and maybe you get a big hit from J.P. Crawford or Colton Wong. Those guys are solid major leaguers. They've been around for a while. So I'll slide Seattle behind the Dodgers.
All right. So they are number
Dodgers,
2 right
Seattle.
now.
Yep, number 2.
All right, move us on. How does Texas look?
Really good, surprisingly. I don't know what your thoughts on Texas's lineup are, but
I do love seeing Robbie Grossman in there. Robbie Grossman, I loved that guy last year for the Braves. He was like that Charlie Culberson type of vibe to me.
Yeah, he's a really nice utility player. I don't know if he should be DHing for you every day, but
he's a great bench bat, though.
Great bench bat. Texas is a little beat up right now. Josh Young, their rookie third baseman's on the injured list.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie or he's either a rookie or a second-year player. I don't remember. But this is one of these lineups. You look at it. They got Jonah Heim, Nathaniel Lowe, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, who has probably been one of the more underrated outfielders in the MLB the last couple of years. I think Texas's lineup, 1 through 6, matches up with anyone. I think they suffer from, and good teams suffer from this. The bottom half leaves a little to be desired. But
it always gives me a red flag when you have the DH batting in the bottom 3, bottom 2 in your lineup.
Yeah, it is a little worrying when your DH isn't one of your better hitters.
Exactly.
It kind of means you are throwing that utility guy. You're throwing that Robbie Grossman in the DH spot because you don't really have anyone else.
Yeah.
But I think the Rangers have a lot of utility. You see guys like Ezekiel Duran on the bench, Mitch Garver on the bench. Mitch Garver's got an 858 OPS this year. I know he's only played 56 games, but that's like your backup catcher / DH. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel Duran's a utility player. He's got an 805 OPS. Can play literally everywhere. So I think the Rangers have a better lineup than the Dodgers. I'm going to say it right now.
Really?
Yeah. Top to bottom.
So you're putting Rangers number 1 right now?
I'll put the Rangers number 1 right now.
Got Rangers, Dodgers, then Mariners.
Yes, I'm ready for the angry texts. I can see them now.
All right, moving into the Central. Got Milwaukee up first. Christian Yelich, William Contreras, Carlos Santana, Sal Frelick, Willie Adames, Adames.
Adames. Yeah,
Adames. Mark Canha, Bryce Terrain, Andrew Monasterio.
Yeah.
Then Tyrone Taylor. I love seeing William Contreras from what he did last year, being an all-star for the Braves, then going over to Milwaukee and just taking that starting spot. I like that.
Yeah, and his defense has actually improved this year. Just on a side note, outside of the hitting perspective, Milwaukee has really good coaching, so his defense has become really good.
Love to see it.
Milwaukee's in a weird spot where they have a couple really good veteran bats, and then everything else is just kind of young guys that they've just kind of thrown up and try to see stick. Sal Frelick, famous Brave killer Sal Frelick.
But they're in the Central, so
yeah,
I mean
they're in the Central. Yeah,
that's all you have to say about it. They're in the Central.
Yeah, I don't think Milwaukee's lineup is really a playoff caliber lineup. But
so you're sticking them at the bottom?
I will stick them at the bottom, behind Seattle. I think Milwaukee's best hitter is Christian Yelich, who's looked good this year. He's looked like half of the Yelich of old.
I'm still waiting for like vintage Miami Yelich to come back. Give me like 1 month of vintage Yelich.
I want that, but you got to remember he broke his kneecap that year that he was in the MVP race.
Yeah,
and that's an incredibly hard injury, man. Breaking your kneecap.
I can't even imagine because you use that thing every single day. That's like your pinky, something you never think about, but it's so important.
Yeah. So, love me some Christian Yelich, but I'm gonna have to put Milwaukee at the bottom. So we're going Texas, the Dodgers, Seattle, and then Milwaukee.
All right.
All right.
So moving on to the AL Central, how is Minnesota looking?
Not good. This lineup is not. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. But Byron Buxton's hurt again.
Yeah.
He's a fun player to watch when he's healthy. The problem is he's never healthy.
I'm getting Mike Trout vibes when you start talking about Byron Buxton. They're just always hurt, but when they're actually on the field, they're one of the best players on the field.
I wouldn't even put Byron Buxton anywhere near Mike Trout level because Mike Trout, this getting hurt thing has been, it's been getting more common. At the beginning of his career, he played like five seasons where he was perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But, Buxton's never been healthy. Obviously, they're a better team with him in the lineup. They got a couple guys in here that are surprised, like sneaky good. Max Kepler's pretty good. Edward Julian, the rookie, second baseman, really solid. Donovan Solano, a nice 35-year-old veteran, putting up a league above average OPS there. But aside from that, just really weak. Joey Gallo. I don't care what advanced metrics say. OPS plus can lie to you. WAR can lie to you. I don't think Joey Gallo is that good for a lineup.
What about Carlos Correa, Mister Man of all hats? What was he on 4 different rosters over the all season?
He's the second worst free agent signing this season,
but
not for lack of trying. Trey Turner has somehow been worse than Carlos Correa, and Correa has been pretty bad. I know his ankle problem, which he said wasn't a problem, has been flaring up. So I just don't know about this Minnesota team.
So where are you putting them at in the rankings?
Just because they have, Byron Buxton, they might be ahead of Milwaukee.
Not by much, though.
Not by much, though.
All right, let's skip the NL East. Let's go to the AL East, and we'll save the Braves for last.
That sounds great to me.
All right, got Baltimore, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Anthony Santander. I'm struggling with these names today. Jesus. Ryan Mountcastle, Ryan O'Hearn, Austin Hayes, Cedric Mullins, Ramon Urias, and Adam Frazier. Adam Frazier, have not heard that name in so long. Wow.
Yeah, he's still poking around.
I see. I guess so. My gosh. That's veteran leadership there.
Yeah. And what I see from this lineup is they got a really good mix of veterans and a lot of really good young hitters.
They seem a little on the top heavy side to me. Other than Mullins at the bottom, doesn't it seem like most of their bats are at the top?
I don't know. I think, any lineup that has, Cedric Mullins hitting like 7, Santander is a great option at the top. Gunnar Henderson's been crazy as a rookie this year. He's got 22 dingers. Adley Rutschman, obviously, probably one of the best catchers in the MLB already in his second year. Yeah, first full season. Ryan Mountcastle's a really good slugger. Don't let his power numbers deceive you. They moved the wall back in Baltimore and raised it by like 10 feet. It used to be a bandbox. Now it's not. I mean, even guys like Austin Hayes and Ryan O'Hearn have been contributing at a solid level. I think Baltimore's got a nice all-around lineup that's going to put them nice in the middle of the pack.
So you're putting them below the Dodgers, above the Mariners? Where are you sliding them?
Yeah, I'll put them below the Dodgers, above the Mariners.
All right. And that brings us to the NL East, our team, the Atlanta Braves. You want to go ahead and rip that one off?
I mean, what is there to say? I mean, the worst hitter in this lineup is on an everyday basis with everyone healthy is Orlando Arcia, who's been pretty good. He was an all-star this year, so
he was a starting all-star.
Yeah, starting all-star. This is a team that when everyone's healthy, you got Michael Harris hitting 9. And Michael Harris had an atrocious first 2 months to start the season and has almost an 800 OPS.
He's batting like 270, 280 after batting 100 for the first month.
Yeah, he's almost hitting 290, Thomas. He's been absolutely ridiculous. 19 stolen bases. He's only been caught twice. Obviously the top of the lineup, when you go Acuna, Albies, Riley, Olsen, there's not a better top 4 in the MLB. And then to top it off, behind Olsen, you can slot Marcell Ozuna, who's got, 28 home runs this year. You got Sean Murphy, who's been crazy. He's got a 900 OPS. Eddie Rosario, who's been really hot and cold. So is Marcell Ozuna, but, still has a 793 OPS. That's like your 7 hitter. Oh yeah, my 7 hitters only got 20 home runs in the 793 OPS. He stinks.
What is it? 6 players we have in our lineup that are over 20 home runs already.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone else will crop. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's 7 players.
Jeez. So it won't be hard to figure out where we want to put Atlanta in the rankings there, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this team does it with more than just a long ball. You'll see Acuna is an on-base machine. He's got a 418 on-base percentage, which leads all of MLB. He gets on base, he can steal a bag. Like I said, Michael Harris has got 19 stolen base. He can get on base and steal a bag. Albies can steal a bag. And even the guys that don't steal a lot, guys like Riley's got some decent speed for a big guy. Rosario can run if you're not careful.
The only person I'm saying that I'm scared to even think about them stealing is Matt Olson. Other than that, I'm fine with anybody.
I put Travis d'Arnaud as the only guy I want to see. 'Cause Olsen takes a while to get going. He's more like a freight train of old, you know.
Mhm.
Once you get the locomotive pumping a little bit, he don't stop.
Yeah.
But and I think the Braves have a really nice rounded bench. I think Nicky Lopez is like the perfect type of hitter for this lineup, a guy who can slap the ball, and that kind of style works better with runners on base because the defense has to react to
Yeah.
multiple things happening. Travis d'Arnaud, who's forms the best catcher tandem with Sean Murphy. If you look at their stats combined, they got what 29 home runs, 95 RBIs combined.
So when Albies gets healthy, who do you want as that backup utility player? You want Vaughn Grissom to stay up, or you stick with Nicky Lopez?
I think you got to stick with Nicky Lopez. I've been impressed. We're looking more of this from a hitting standpoint rather than a defensive standpoint, but Lopez can slide in anywhere.
Hitting standpoint, I like Grissom. Grissom has the hot hand to me.
You think so?
I think so. Look at his numbers across the entire season, and all of it has been in AAA. I love Grissom's bat. I just wish his defense matched that bat.
Yeah, and that's it's an interesting argument because Grissom can also fits this lineup really well. He puts the ball in play.
Yeah.
And I think, compared to some of the other lineups, if you look, the higher ranked lineups in the league usually strike out a ton. The Braves are near the bottom in strikeouts and near the top in walks.
But they're also top in home runs. You never have the top team in home runs be at the bottom in strikeouts. It's usually like right hand to hand with each other.
Yeah. The only player that strikes out, the only two players that strike out a lot on this team are Austin Riley and Matt Olson. And then heading down a bit, and then it's like Marcell Ozuna and Eddie Rosario. But guys like Acuna, Harris,
They're putting the ball in
Albies,
play almost every time.
Murphy, yeah, they're putting the ball in play, man. And this is why I know I sound like a homer. This is a Braves podcast. We're going to be homers here. But, this is the top ranked offense, and this is one of the best offenses in Major League history. It's just, you watch this team play, they don't seem to miss a pitch that's a mistake.
Yeah.
They'll only miss one or two of those a game, and you go, wow, he really should have hit that ball 450 feet. Because usually when it's a mistake, you don't even have time to see where that ball landed.
Yeah. It get out of here fast.
So
going down our rankings for the league leaders, this top 7. So we have the Braves, the Rangers, the Dodgers, the Orioles, the Mariners, the Twins, and the Brewers.
Yep. For division leaders, that sounds about right to me.
And the Braves are currently sitting at 84 wins. And I think there's only maybe 2 other teams that have 80 wins so far.
I think it's just Baltimore.
Just Baltimore. I know Dodgers were flirting at 79.
Yeah, you'd have to check the score. We are recording this on Saturday night. The Dodgers Red Sox game was finishing up while we were going. The Red Sox did have the lead, so I can check that for you real quick. Yeah, no, the Dodgers lost, so they're not quite at 80 yet.
Yeah. So yeah, only two teams, but it's lonely at the top. So one future episode I would love to do. I want to, let's say mid-September, maybe right after beginning of September. I want to go through the MVP talks because Mookie Betts is getting a lot of traction in his MVP conversation. Freddie Freeman getting a lot of traction, and I thought it was Acuna's award to just run with, but they're starting to close the gap on him.
I mean, so he stole his 59th base tonight. Thomas, I want you to list. Here's a stats question for you.
Okay.
You might know the answer. You might be surprised. You might know the answer. How many players have hit 30 home runs and stolen 60 bases in a season?
It's only one, right? Or
zero? Zero.
I thought Ricky would have been up there.
Ricky is not on that list.
Pop on him.
I think Ricky's career high was like 28.
Oh, man.
Something like that. So 0. And do you know what the voters like, Thomas?
What do they like?
They like things that have never happened before.
And how many homers is Acuna sitting at?
He's sitting at 28. He's sitting at
28 almost guaranteed to get that 30. If knock on wood, please stay healthy, Acuna. Please stay healthy. God, please stay healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see that. I wanted him to go for the 40-40, but let's just go for the playoffs. Let's go for the World Series. Let's look at big picture here.
Yeah, dude, I'll take a 35-70.
Yeah, I'd definitely take that.
Yeah, so, but, obviously, I'm not trying to, put down the Dodgers. I'm a known Dodgers hater. I'm just telling you, if this were flipped, I would say the same thing. The voters like storylines.
Yeah.
If you look at the MVP races in the past, there's been so many guys that have lost the MVP that shouldn't have. Most notably, Bill and I debated, Joe DiMaggio versus Ted Williams in the year that DiMaggio got his hit streak. Joe DiMaggio won the MVP that year when Ted Williams won the Triple Crown, Thomas, and hit 400.
How do you win the Triple Crown and not get the MVP?
He won the Triple Crown, and it was the last 400 batting average season ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about storylines. The Red Sox, poor Red Sox didn't play very well, and the Yankees were in first place.
Yeah.
And DiMaggio had that legendary hit streak. So it when that debate does roll around, that will be one of my arguments. I think Ronald he has a grasp on it because he's been consistent all year.
Yeah.
And he has a chance to be the first to do the power speed. The voters love the power speed guys.
I love power speed. I've never been a power person, but I love seeing it.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a power speed guy?
So you got anything else for us, Jackson?
A lineup we didn't talk about tonight who would probably rank ahead of a lot of these lineups. I got to bring up our nemesis, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
They're a team to watch out for. Bryce Harper looks like he's healthy again, and that makes me sad. But
so Bryce Harper, them sliding into the wild card, we would see them in the first round of the playoffs, NLDS.
There's a high probability, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's gear up. We know what we're looking at.
Revenge, man.
And I was telling Bill on the last live I was on Instagram on the top fan page, I want to see Philadelphia. I want to beat the best and just shut down all the Philly fans because if we had saw you in the playoffs, it would have been like whatever. No, y'all knocked us out last year. We want to knock you out this year. Let's go ahead and chop off the head.
Yep. Stretch run. We got 1 month left. So
yes,
season's been flying. I don't know how it's almost September. My brain hurts. But but as always, Thomas, go Braves and
chop on.